So this video is going to be about weird, I shouldn't say that, um, notable things that I remember undergoing as a kid. I'm making this really hard. Unusual body things that I experienced as a kid with my body. We'll see what the title says. Let's see how I can get this out. I made a quick list, and I stopped at 6th grade. But just to make anyone else feel a little more normal, or maybe you guys will just think I'm really weird. But you know what'll feel good? Kind of get this off my chest. I haven't told some of this stuff to a lot of people, or maybe, or I don't know, or a couple of them in here I may not have told to anyone. I don't know. I haven't really thought about it. So, before kindergarten, this is okay. The first one's really gross. Before kindergarten, I didn't go to preschool, so to me, that's how my mind remembers it. My room, at the time, the house we were in, I could access the main bathroom that had two doors. One that went in. Well, I guess it wasn't. It was a bathroom. One that went to the kitchen. The other one went to my room. At least it might not. Yeah, I think it was my room. If it wasn't my room, that is so weird. It might not have been my room. My room was upstairs. Oh my gosh, this was even weird recounting this story as an adult out loud. Okay, so yeah, I think I've told this. So there was a bedroom through which you could also access this bathroom door, and one of my older brothers, and I was, like 4, and so they were like, 6 and 8. I don't know. One of them, the 6, was always in the bathroom. We'll say the 6-year-old. Was in the bathroom for a really, really long time for a while. And at least that's what it seemed like to me. And I had to go to the bathroom, and it just kept happening, like days after days after days. And so I was just trying to be resourceful. Like, gosh, all I had to do is drop this stuff out of my body. I just need a place to put it so I can go back to what I'm doing. And why I have to just sit here waiting outside the door, this is all I can do because I'm just holding this. That's what I have to focus on right now, is holding this. And so I went somewhere and found an empty plastic bucket. The kind of, those like 2-gallon ice cream. Is it 2 gallons? Oh, those giant old like cheap ice cream used to come in giant plastic buckets with the plastic lid and the handle. And I created my own little porta potty. I found it and I brought it into that room, which I'm now realizing was not my room. And Justin was in the bathroom. Oh, oops, there it was, my brother. Then I would sit on, I would go to the bathroom in this bucket, and then I put the lid back on and I would push it under the bed. And then I don't know if I thought past that, if I thought, I'll come dump it out later. And I remember doing this a few times, and I would open the bucket, and I would go number 1 and 2, and I would poo in there, and then I would put the lid, and then I push it back under the bed, and then I go back. And then one day, my dad brought me in there. He always handled these odd things. He was very good at it. And he brought me into the bedroom, and he pulled it out, and he said, "Jamie, is this yours?" And I said, I think I have confirmed it was. And he just kind of asked why I was doing that. And I explained that Justin was in the bathroom for too long. And it kept happening, and I really needed to go. I think he just said something simple. I don't even remember, but something where I just understood, oh, that's not normal. We shouldn't do that. Okay, I should really just wait for the bathroom. Okay. That's really what I said. Now I look back and think, is that weird? I would think it would be hilarious if, and a creative solution. I was very young. I didn't know. Anyway, let's move on. Also during preschool years, I'll try not to make I gotta go faster. Also, during these preschool years, I remember trying to explain to my mother, while we were in like a kitchen of some sort, that I wrote it down really well because it was really hard. I tried to ask her why I felt like I was looking at life through a camera all the time, like a movie. Um, uh, and that it was always through my eyes. Or my lens, which I didn't know that word, I didn't use that word, but the camera never switched to another person's eyes or even outside of my own eyes. Like, do you understand what I was trying? I was trying to put it in the way I might have said it. Or like outside of myself, but that, and it also felt like that I wasn't a part of the movie or the world, but that I was just looking at it all the time, like through my eyes, like a screen. Um, That's a true story. And I remember that she kind of brushed me off. I wondered if I didn't express myself as well. I was quite young, and I didn't try again because she didn't get it. I knew by her response that it wasn't working. She wasn't understanding what I was trying to say, and I just dropped it. Second grade. Okay, so I had tubes put in my ears when I was young. And in second grade, one of the tubes in my ears fell out in the morning before school, and it was all covered with wax and things. And I was so excited about it because I had been wondering. I knew that there were tubes put in my ears, but I've been wondering what happened to them. Did they fall in my body? Did they fall out? So I was thinking as a kid, when are they going to fall out? Are they going to be in there forever? For some reason, adults didn't explain this to me in a way that I understood or whatever. But one day I just woke up, I felt something rattling in my ear, and I looked down, and it fell out, and it was a tiny little tube, and it was covered in earwax, and it was gross. But I didn't think it was gross. I just thought it was interesting and so cool, and I begged Dad to bring it to school. He's like, "Are you sure?" And so he put it in a baggie, and I brought it to school, and I showed my teacher, and she had, I remember, I think my teacher at that school in second grade, I was at a different school, didn't really understand me. She thought I was weird. And she didn't have the response that I expected, but I wanted to show the class, and so at the beginning before class started, she just said, "Jamie wants to show everyone something." So I got in front of the class and passed the bag around, and people are just like passing it by. There are a couple kids would look at it, through the, but and I was explaining that this tube was in my ear and it came out this morning and it's covered in earwax. I thought it was so neat, but I just remember there was a silence. I remember not everyone thought it was as cool as I thought they were going to think it was. Anyway, in second semester of my second grade year, I began to get these cramps in my knees. I remember them, and I would, whenever I was standing, I would lean against something and start kicking my leg out like that, kicking it out when I was standing, trying to pop my knees. And I remember like some boy asking me what I was doing, and I was like, "I'm popping my knees." He's like, "Why are you doing that? What is that?" And then I just kept doing it. This was also the school where I didn't like the vibe there. I don't know. I knew that the teachers were worried about it because I didn't really want to play with the other kids. My favorite thing to do, it was winter semester, spring semester, so we didn't really get to play outside. And my favorite thing to do during recess was play with this pattern. It was like you have a shape, an outline, and then you have and it comes with all these different smaller shapes or blocks, and you had to fit all those shapes within the outline of the bigger shape. And I loved this game. I loved it. And they had just multiple outlines, and they got harder and harder and more complex, and some there were less lines to go by, and I just wanted to play as soon as it was recess, I ran to that and played. No one else wanted to play with it, but I wanted to just do it over and over. I loved it. And I remember the teacher, I would notice, like, adults think kids are stupid. I would notice the teacher would call a girl over, talk to her. And I see the look on the girl's face, and the girl would come over and ask if I wanted to play with them. And I think one of the times I finally said yes. I was like, the teacher wants me to do this. And so I went, and they have one of these McDonald's cars, and they're like pulling back on it and letting it slide across the floor. And then the other girl will pull back on the McDonald's car and let it slide across the floor. And so this is second grade, second semester, second grade. So you're talking, how old am I? 7, 8? I don't know. And I could only do it a few times. I was like, this is so boring. This is like baby game. What is this game? Roll the ball back and forth? And so then I just excused myself. I just said, thanks, guys, I don't want to play anymore or something. And then I went back to my game. And so that's... Anyway, my point is that I think I was getting those knee cramps because I wasn't getting a lot of activity. I didn't want to play with the kids at that school because, I don't know, I just wasn't jiving with them. And so that's what I think was happening. That's my interpretation. It's my rationalization of it. That was also the year that I peed my pants in class because the teacher didn't believe that I had to go to the bathroom, even though I asked like 3 times to go to the bathroom. And I finally I had to go, and I just peed, and she came up to me, Jamie, did you pee your pants? And I'm like, yes, I did. Because it was silent. We were all working in the room. Because I already asked her, she just refused to let me go. I also became really concerned with brushing my teeth at this age, to a point where other kids' parents, like if I got to spend the night somewhere, would notice, and they would do something really embarrassing, which is like praise me as an example of in front of my peer, my friend. And I'm like, it was so uncomfortable, you know. No one wants to have a friend that their parents always saying, why can't you brush your teeth like Jamie? I'm like, oh God, please don't. But I would take like 3 to 5 minutes to brush my teeth, which is kind of a long time as a kid. And I was just so concerned. I remember learning about brushing your teeth. That's when they gave us this big lesson about brushing your teeth. And I was like, oh my gosh, if I don't brush my teeth, they're going to fall out. What? And I was like, you have to go to the dentist? I don't go to the dentist. And so I had to take care of my teeth. And so I always felt like I had a lot of teeth, so I brushed them a lot. Let's move on. Okay. 3rd grade. That was when I vomited in front of the class because, again, the teacher didn't believe that I felt sick and that I needed to go to the nurse. I asked her like 3 times. I politely got up and raised my hand and asked to approach her desk and like indicated that I don't feel good. I think I'm going to throw up. Can I go to the nurse? I don't know. I think I just said I don't feel good. Can I go to the nurse maybe? And I could tell she was exasperated. I could tell she didn't believe me. And finally after like the 3rd time, she was like, okay, finish this assignment at your desk, and then I'll let you go down to the nurse. And so I go back, and what I know now is nauseous, but I just remember feeling, you know, I remember, and I stood up. I think like I gotta ask her to go to the nurse again. And then as I stood up, I just ran to the trash can, which was positioned like in front next to the chalkboard, and just started vomiting. and what is this, 3rd grade? That was 3rd grade. And I finally she let me go to the nurse, and I went home, and I was fine after that. But we're almost there. 4th grade, 4th and 5th grade, I got really into stretching. I would just sit in like the splits and watch TV shows until I could stretch my legs more and more. It just felt so good to stretch. I would always stretch. So weird. And I've probably been stretching since my childhood. It just feels so good. And I was also the age where I just saw that I was failing all of the, this is not another strange body thing. I noticed that I was barely passing all of the scoliosis tests where you bend over. I would pass, but every time, every year, every gym, whatever, it was like I knew it was going to take 2 or 3 times for me. I knew it was going to, and the gym teacher would be like, okay, well, do it again. And she would just look at me. And the other girls, it was so quick. I'm like, why is it so quick for them? What? I would try to not focus on how I stood, but focus on it. And I'm like, what am I doing? What is that? I don't want to have some weird disease. I didn't know what scoliosis really was, you know. And I found out when I was much older, when I got a physical for a job, that some nurse practitioner finally was nice enough to just say, "Hey, did you know you have a really mild case of scoliosis?" And I was like, "Oh, really?" And I was like, "That explains so much." She's like, "Yeah, it never would have passed like what the screening, but because it is mild, but probably just enough to give you like back pain and stuff if you sit too long." And I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Stretching probably feels really good." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, yes." And so there's that weird thing. Also, fifth and sixth grade, I got obsessed with my cheekbones. I kind of really prominent cheekbones, and they're really, I have strangely wide cheekbones. They're wider than anything else on my face. And it's really odd. They're overly prominent. And it makes my face look weird. Like, look at this. It's so weird, but I don't know what to do about it. That's the way my face looks. It's just, makes me look like I was punched in certain areas. And they just stayed that way. But I got obsessed kind of with, uh, um, like if they were even, and I would like constantly kind of feel them like this. I know it's weird. I only did it during this time. Oh, the knee popping thing stopped after that grade. We went to a different school and I didn't have to pop my knees anymore. Weird. But, anyway, and I tried to be sneaky about it because sometimes I'd be in public and I would like want to like feel my cheekbones in like some kind of weird comforting way and make sure and see, are they symmetrical? Is one higher than the other? I can't tell. And I would notice how if I put my fingers in different places, it would change the way it felt, like the distance. I don't know, man. I just thought about stuff, and I was just found everything so I don't know. And but anyway, I didn't think people noticed until one time. A couple of my friends gave me a couple extra pictures because I was a cheerleader at that time, but I was the weird girl. Was the one that none of the other cheerleaders really talked to. I just wanted to do it because it thought it looked fun and I thought I could do it. And but I didn't vibe with any of the girls. There were a bunch of really popular girls on that squad. And whatever, you know, but I didn't care. For some reason, it didn't bother me. I could be on the squad and do the cheerleading stuff and not give a shit that all the girls didn't like me and thought it was weird. Like they made it obvious. And I don't know. It's just weird. But anyway, someone gave me a picture of like, because they had copies. That was when people would go and get doubles because they would go to the store and get their photos processed, whatever the verb was. What was it? Anyway, and I looked, and we're all standing on the basketball court line, and there's me like looking like a weirdo, touching my cheekbones, you know, with my jaw dropped, and I'm caught in this picture in front of everyone in the crowd, in the middle of the game, just on the sideline, touching my face, like in some weird way, like I don't know. Okay, I have one more. This is really humbling, but it's really freeing. And so this is just to kind of help anyone else who went through weird things. Um, so I'm just going to skip ahead to high school. I'm bringing this out because this was so prominent. You know, you kind of get better at learning, oh, this is weird, I shouldn't do these things. But it was during a really stressful, like a high stress time, maybe? I was in high school. I had stress because I had a lot of stuff going on. And, like junior, senior year, and I really just was really tired of high school and of meeting people's expectations. And I just didn't give a shit anymore. I just started wearing like sweatpants to school and weird hats and just like, just like trying to make it obvious that I didn't fit in. Like it just felt better uh, to not be compared, you know, to be my own thing. Made me feel more confident because I wasn't trying to be like all these other people, these other girls that I couldn't be like. And but anyway, so we're backstage. I was really heavily involved with drama nerd, uh, and and we're in the dressing room, and we're all the girls are in there changing and stuff, and I had changed and was waiting to get my makeup done or something, and I was just sitting in the corner. I always choose like a corner spot with the mirror or whatever, and I was just sitting there, and I was just lost. I was just daydreaming. I'm like 17 years old, okay, but I'm sitting cross-legged on top of the counter that's like attached to the wall, kind of like a bathroom, and towards the mirror. And I had this little pocket calendar that was plastic on the outside, and I'm rocking back and forth. And this was like before I just got back from like a track uh, meet or something, and then we were getting ready to do like opening night or dress rehearsal, I don't know. And I'm rocking back and forth thinking to myself and taking this tiny little plasticky pocket calendar and just rubbing it up and down along my lips, just just over and over and just rocking. And I think just the fact that I was doing this repetitively for so long, you know, with this thing, and you guys would think I'm weird. I'm just, this is what I did. I'm even making it sound like I was really like I don't know. Sometimes I do this, and I was kind of doing that with it because my lips felt dry, and I was just lost in thought. And then suddenly I felt like I snapped out of it, and I felt like someone looking at me, and there was this popular girl who was actually really nice and had shown kindness, always shown kindness to me, and she did here as well. Just kind of looked at me with this like really strange, like she was like looking at me, and like I don't know, man. I can't describe the look she was looking at me with, but it made me stop, and I don't know. It passed, and she never said anything, and at least to me. But she was cool. She was pretty cool, and she always was to me. So that was really weird, and I didn't. I was just doing that in front of everyone. It was full of girls, full of people, and I just was lost in my own little world, just dazing out and de-stressing by like zoning out, you know. And that was kind of weird. That was a weird thing. Other things is this was the first time, I didn't notice it, but I also began to pass out during high school from overexhaustion and overheating. I would get low, I don't know how else to describe it, I would get hypoglycemic, where I would just get these low blood sugar attacks. This is not diabetes. I know that can happen in a diabetic person who's on insulin, but I'm not on insulin. This is just the way my body's just burning sugar too much, and like my body's the opposite problem, burns a lot of sugar. Diabetics can burn their sugar, and that's why they need insulin to help them burn their sugar. And when they take anyway, this is not a lesson about that. It's a nurse kicking in. And but anyway, I would get these attacks where suddenly I would feel really weak, and I like could barely move, and I barely had energy, and I felt like I was going to pass out, and it would get really hot, and I would start to sweat and shake, and then I just knew instinctively for some reason I needed to eat. And I remember it happening one time in the truck on the way back, and with my siblings and Dad just saying, "We're almost there, Jane, we're almost there, hang in there." And then like we got home, I think he like carried me inside and put me on the couch, and then came to me like 3 minutes later with this plate, just like a fourth dinner. Okay, like because every now and then I would just, because I would eat 4 to 5 meals a day, and every now and then I would just need an extra meal. I was so active when I was a teenager, and my body slowed down a little bit. So anyway, so those are the bodies oddities that I've experienced myself growing up that I could think of quickly. I might regret putting this out there, but man, I've just been watching so many videos lately, and just of people just being really open about their strangeness. I don't know how else to say it. I'm not trying to be insulting, and it's really cool. It's really accepting, and it made me feel less strange. You know. I hope you guys are just as strange as I am. Thanks, bye.